All right. Good morning, folks. Thank you for your patience while I got this together. As I've discussed, talking a little bit about perspective this morning, kind of try and keep this to a shorter video and give you an exercise to work on, and then you'll move to your 2-point perspective. When we're thinking about perspective, this is what I want to discuss first. It's really important that you start off with a horizon line. Because you want to know where your image or where your objects are going to disappear to when you have your vanishing points. So, for example, when I'm starting off, I'm going to give myself some guides. And some programs will give you the guides built in, like Procreate. I'm just going to do it without, just so we have something to work with. So, if this is my horizon line, and this should hopefully be a little bit of a review from drawing 1 or drawing 2. This is my horizon line. If I choose a vanishing point, right, this is going to be my point here on this side, and this is going to be my other point, right? So this is my VP, and this is my other VP2, VP1 and VP2. Vanishing point 1, vanishing point 2. And this is my horizon line. I'm going to create a box. And when I have a vertical line, right, if I want to draw the other parts of the box, and this is going in perspective, the top of the box is going to meet this point here, right? And this bottom point is going to meet it here. And I'm drawing out lines to help me figure out where those are going to vanish to. So if I know my beginning, like where the top of my box is and where the bottom is, right, those vertical lines are going to stay as they are. This one over here is going to go there. This one over here, go there. So when we are below the horizon line, we are going to see the tops of objects, right? If we're above, we're going to see below the object. So if I am going over here, notice I'm just drawing some very thin lines. Top of this one to our box over here. So now we can see the top of our box. Let's go a little bit more oblique. Going in, going in, going in, going in. Right, so if we're below the line, we're going to see the top of the box, right? And I'm just doing this loosely for right now, just so you get an idea. Now, if I am above the horizon line, right? If I draw my vertical line here, I might choose a different brush for this. Let's just go hard round. Make this a little bit smaller. There we go. All right. So if I have my line here, right, and I'm going to use my lines. If you hold down Shift, if you click and then hold down Shift, it'll make a line for you as you go. So let's actually do like that. There we go. Right? Those are going to give me that line going from there. If I choose my backside, go from here to here. Do that again. From here to here, and say this is at that same sort of point, right? And I'm going to match up as I'm going and figure out where are those points that I need. So since we are above the horizon line, we're going to see the underside of that box. So with your views that you're going to be working with of your environments, we're going to want to see a little bit above and a little bit below. And so I'll start working on mine so you can see it. But just to reiterate, right, use your vanishing points to help you figure out where the object should go. One other thing that's worth pointing out is the farther apart your vanishing points are, the less distorted your work is going to be. So if my vanishing points are really close together. And I draw a box on top. Right, if this is the front point of my box, let's actually do right down here again. This is the front point of my box. Again, drawing my vanishing points. Again, very loosely. Notice how sort of squat this shape is as we're looking at our box compared to when we had our box before. Turn down our visibility. Right, it's a lot sort of wider. Whereas when you have your vanishing points separated out really far apart, let's turn these off, Command T, stretch this way out, turn off my plan, and I draw my box again. Here's the front part, and you can always turn your space if you need to. So that makes it a little bit easier. I'm holding down R as I do that. Whoop. Go back to my brush. This is the size of my box. Come back here. You can see how, let's hold down R, get to reset view, right? The size of this box, it feels a lot more normal, or just you can feel the perspective of this box a lot more clearly compared to, right, this one or this one. Let's turn this one all the way back. Right? Distorted versus feeling much more normal. So when you are working on your designs, I would really encourage you to make your vanishing points wider. They might even go off the screen. And if you need to, you can, I'm fine if you want to go beyond the 8.5 by 11 and stretch out your canvas. So that way you can make your guides if you need them to, oh, that was included in that. Let's jump back out. If your guides, you need to make them much longer, right? So you can see them. If that's helpful, you can always stretch those out. So all I did there was I was extending out my canvas. So if you want to go beyond the 8.5 by 11, that's totally fair. The exercise I want you to do is to draw several different boxes. So that way the exercise I want you to do is to draw at least 15 different boxes in perspective. Some below, some above. So that way you're starting to work with a sense of perspective. And I want you to practice this. Just do it on one sheet of paper or one sheet. You could do it hand-drawn if you want, but boxes in perspective. So using a horizon line, using vanishing points, draw several different boxes in shapes. So that way you're getting a little bit of practice before you start the act of drawing. So you could use one sense of your guide and above and below. Oop. Above and below, Command D. I think I was selected on something, right? Make them big. But this, I think, will help you just start to get a sense of drawing in perspective. And I feel like what will help you is, as you're going, just getting to that little bit of, okay, now I understand, like, I can see below the shape. All right, so 15 different boxes on one sheet of paper. That's the exercise that I want you to do before you start moving to the next part. Now, as I was saying before, what you can do is, I'm gonna actually just get rid of some of these. Put that in there. Now, if you want to draw curved shapes, and I'm drawing a particular form, right? Like this. I know that it should fit within, like I'm doing some sort of shape within my box, right? And this is in perspective. I can use this as a guide, right? I can draw this a little bit lighter towards the back or make this going that way. So say this is my overall sort of form, right? What I can do is I can use this as a guide. So if I give myself those midpoints, right? This can be the top of a curve if I need it. This could be the top of a curve if I needed it. Actually, I'm just going to keep this one like that. So I know that now, when I'm going across, this will be my curved form inside. Or if you're trying to get a rounded sort of form, rounded corners from this side to this side to this side to this side. Make sure you're seeing the back of your box. This side, this side, this side, and this side, right? And then I close it off. And notice that as we go, some of these shapes you might not see on the back side. Let's go like that. So as I'm coming around, right, we're getting almost like this dial sort of form to it. And then I can go in, erase out the parts I don't need. And we're not going to see that backside edge. And as you're working on your designs for your architecture, it can be loose. It is meant to be visual development, is not doing the most precise sort of drawing as of your space. It's okay to be a little bit looser, right? Someone, an animator or a background artist would take your work and then interpret it. But here you can see how we got a nice curved form from an overall box. So you're more than welcome to work with it that way. The boxes are going to be your basis for everything you make.